What's going on, everybody? Welcome into HQ Spotlight. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino, Emily Proud. We got a full house today. We got Logan Ryan and Rand Carthon in studio with us. Fellas, it's going to be so much fun. How's it going?
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm next to this guy right here.
Nah, let's not do that.
Oh, no.
We're just jumping from studio to studio.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are.
We've been on since the morning shift.
Yeah,
you know, we're just waiting for some lunch.
Yeah, we're putting y'all to work. Yeah, we can try to get the lunch. We'll see what we can do on that. And in the meantime, week 4, we're about to put a bow on it. We have not one, but 2 Monday Night Football games to look forward to. Jets, Dolphins, both of those squads looking for their first win of the season. And then, of course, the Broncos and the Bengals as well, Emily.
Yeah, we're about a month into the season, so it seems like a good time to take stock. Most teams, as you said, have played 4 games, but we have some more action tonight. Let's start, though, by giving out some grades, and we're going to go to the NFC North. And first, remind you of what happened in week 4. We had it all, really. We had wins for the Lions and Bears, a loss for the Vikings in Dublin, and a tie that everybody loves last night for the Packers against the Cowboys. And thanks to that tie, the NFC North standings, they don't look very clean, guys. My type A brain hates that extra little 1 there, but the Lions are on top at 3-1. That loss came in the division to the Packers, though. Packers with that tie are second, Vikings and Bears both 500 in this early season. So take out your red pens, get ready to give some grades to these teams, and let's start things off with the Packers. Of course, that big week 1 win over the Lions helps things out in the division. But Logan, if we're looking at this team in totality, what's the grade?
They're a B- to me. You know, I think we obviously all love the Micah Parsons acquisition, and it was like, oh my God, after week 1, these guys are the NFC favorites, right? They're going to beat the Eagles. They're going to be in the Super Bowl no matter what. And then it's been somewhat inconsistent, following off with that tie. Like you said, I hate a tie. You know, I'm an American football player. I do not like a tie. And I think when you're going in with Micah Parsons into Dallas, you expect to win that trade and make a statement to the NFL. And they put up 40 points. You know, Jordan Love, when healthy, is as good as there is out there. Their receivers are a little banged up. They've scored enough points. But defensively, with Micah Parsons giving up 40 is not good. I think we would expect them to have a better record. It's still early in the season. To me, I am a tough grade. I don't give many A's out there, but I got to go a B- based on what I saw week 1 to what it's been since. It's been somewhat inconsistent.
Yeah, Parsons even said after that game that he went to Jordan Love and said, thanks for having our back today on offense.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm going to give the guys a B, because I just think it's been just right there kind of in the middle, a winning performance, if you will, obviously based on the record. But here's what I want to say. For a team like this, as talented as they are and as excited as they had everyone after week 1, they have to find consistency. And that's consistency across the board. Now, offensively, I think they have an identity, but they have to lean into it. And they still don't have their full complement of receivers, and they're going to start to slowly get guys back here, but you still have a strong running game that you have to lean on, and they've rebuilt this offensive line a little bit. And then defensively, man, they came out of the gate, like Logan talked about with the acquisition of Micah Parsons. Everyone was excited. You got a great performance week 1, but now it's about the consistency part, like showing up week to week, down to down, and letting everyone know that the Green Bay Packers have finally arrived.
All right, so we had a B, so let's move it along to the Lions. And it's almost a totally different conversation when we're talking about week 1, of course, because there was almost a sense of panic after they lost to the Packers. Like, is
wrong with the offense?
Exactly. Like, oh no, Ben Johnson, it's going to be a huge issue. They're now sitting at 3-1. They look pretty good, so to speak, right now. 3-1, by the way, or better in 3 straight seasons for the first time since the early 70s. Rand, what is the grade for the Lions in your eyes?
Well, I have B- down. I wouldn't argue a B, right? And the reason, and I'm being hard on Detroit, because I did have Detroit in as my Super Bowl favorite for the NFC. But what I wanted to see this Detroit Lions team come out, I wanted them to come out and dominate and show that they were the class of the NFC. This is what I really wanted them to do. And again, you have 2 new coordinators, and you're still learning, and there's going to be some ebbs and flows there until everyone, you know, kind of gets their bearing, gets their footing. But I mean, to cap off the first quarter of the season 3-1 with 2 new coordinators, it's a winning performance. I just wanted to see a little bit more out of their superstar, so to speak, and so that's why I went B-. But if Logan wants to go higher, I'm not going to argue, and we'll roll with that one.
Said he's a tough grader.
I am a tough grader, and this is a great grade for me. I'm going with a B+. And it's because they did get punched in the mouth early But what have they done since? I mean, the stars have showed up. Amon-Ra has showed up. Jared Goff. They're getting the running game going. And they've played better defensively than I thought they would. They put up tons of points. And you look what Amon-Ra's done in his last, 3-game span. This guy is not the size of Calvin Johnson.
Or Herman Moore.
About a foot shorter. But he's still got just as much production, man. They know who they are. And when you lose coordinators, right, we love to crown offensive coordinators to head coaches. We love to take the coordinators of winning teams and say, okay, they'll be a great head coach, right? Because they called good plays, they'll be a great head coach, or they called great defenses, they'll be a great head coach. To lose both of that, they still kept the core players intact, under contract.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Proud, young backs, Laporta, the offensive line play. They still have that. Players know how to win the game at the end of the day. That is what Detroit has done. I don't think this is slowing down. So I got a B+ for Detroit, 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, and Rand, you mentioned wanting to see consistency with the Packers. You talk about consistency with the Lions. I mean, they're 30-8 in the last 3 seasons, which is the best in the NFL over that span because, like you said, Logan, they brought back a lot of that talent that's been having success. When we look at teams week 1, maybe not who we thought they were, how about the Vikings? They're 2-2. They got that division win against the Bears week 1, but since then, obviously playing with a backup quarterback. So overall, looking at these 4 games, what's the grade?
I have the Vikings at a C+. And obviously, it's a tick below the other 2 teams. This is a really tough division they're playing in now. These are all should be very good teams. And the reality is the quarterback position and the quarterback play. And obviously, we saw J.J. McCarthy on that Monday Night Football. They decided to move on from Sam Darnold, who's looking like a pretty good quarterback. They decided to not bring in Aaron Rodgers, right? They decided to go with J.J. McCarthy. He got you a win, then he got hurt, right? Then you go with Carson Wentz. And you're going to get the ebbs and flows of a Carson Wentz experience. And it's going to be some highlights and some lowlights all in one. And that's what they got right now. They're 2-2 with a good roster. And I get maybe you don't want to pay the quarterback position because you want to keep the roster well around them. But you got to win games. I mean, this is a Super Bowl roster that they have. And you got to get the quarterback position right in the window. I don't fully agree with walking off of Sam Darnold. I know they did. And now they got to live with that. And this is an average start, as you're going to get. A C+ is an average grade, in my opinion, and that's what the Minnesota Vikings have.
And I went a tick lower with a C-, and a lot for me was based on the quarterback position. And I know their belief in J.J. McCarthy, and he was able to will them to the win early, but like you said, he got hurt. But I think when he returns, there's still going to be more questions than answers, right? And I think that's going to linger all season. And with the way Carson Wentz came in and he played and led him to a victory and almost brought him back, yesterday, that's going to create some conversation there in Minnesota as to who gives us the best chance to win.
Really?
And if that creates the conversation, then that lets me know where we are with the original guy we started the year with. And so for that reason alone, because I'll just say it and be frank, I don't think Carson Wentz is the answer. And if there's a question of whether he is or not, to me kind of lets you know where you are, and I'm going to go with a C-.
Okay, and we have no A's so far. I don't.
Probably won't get it.
I would say I don't think we're gonna get there in this division because we still got to talk about the Bears. They get the win, kind of a heart attack, a comeback, if you will. Caleb Williams really struggled against the Raiders, and the fourth quarter was very good for him, but the defense really showed up. They had 4 turnovers. Rand, what is the grade here for the Bears? Because it's certainly very different if they would have lost going into their bye week, but now they won, and it feels like the vibes are a little bit different now.
I'm going C.
Okay.
Because I think they've been average. Enough to pass, but I think they've been average, especially with the expectations coming into this year, having Ben Johnson, and this is a really good coaching staff that they have here. But even yesterday's game, yes, you won, but that game shouldn't have been that close. You create these turnovers. Geno is just throwing picks left and right and giving you every opportunity to pull away with the game, but yet you never pulled away to the game. And then you had to block a field goal, which is one of the hardest things to do. Yeah. And within the angle in which the guy Blackwell came off the edge, and Logan, because I'm pretty sure he's played that position where you're rushing off that's a tough angle to get to, which rarely happens. And so to me, it created an even bigger feat for you to have to win this football game. And again, we talked about it with these other teams, they have to, establish an identity on offense, and then they have to become consistent. Caleb Williams has to be consistent, and they're going to need a little bit more out of the running game, which I don't think they're going to get this year.
I got them at a C, and it's my lowest in this division. And it's because I really believed in Ben Johnson coming over and the hype and the hope. And look, 2-2, you're not out of nothing. But Caleb Williams has not been consistent at all. And not what we need in where he was drafted and what he was doing in college and how it looks like it's a perfect fit for the NFL. Now you have the hottest head coach in Canada, Ben Johnson. That's who everybody wanted. Everybody wanted Ben Johnson to come in and have success right away. We have a Liam Cohen in Jacksonville's 3-1. Yeah. You know, so to be 2-2, my guy Kevin Byard stole 2 picks, went and got them to help you get that, you know, that win there. But also Chicago Bears defense, I was expecting more from these guys. So I just think they really have not played to the potential they should play at. And I think they have a lot to untap there. And I had these guys finishing near the top of the division, you know, early in the season. Now they got to go play the games, but it has not been as pretty as anyone predicted for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I'm glad I was not asked to grade because the Bears is one of those teams I'm not sure what to give them. Like you said, the inconsistencies, especially at the quarterback position. Caleb Williams started the season hot in that first half against the Vikings, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. So that's all right. We've got more games left to play, but the Bears are on a bye this week, which is kind of surprising. Very early bye, so makes that second half of the season, couldn't even call it a half at this point, a little challenging. But we do have some games to look forward to this weekend in the NFC North. Packers also on a bye. We've got Vikings Browns in London on Sunday morning and Lions Bengals on Sunday afternoon.